Welcome to Craving the Heat, where desire takes the lead and every story leaves you wanting more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments and keep up with our latest naughty stories. Samantha had always cherished her afternoons in the garden. There was something about the quiet hum of nature, the soft rustle of leaves, and the warm touch of the sun on her skin that made everything feel peaceful. She had spent many afternoons on the sun-drenched lounge chair, a book in hand, just letting the day pass by slowly. It was one of those afternoons when the sky seemed bluer than usual, and the air felt crisp and full of possibility. As Samantha lay back, enjoying the moment, she was unaware of the eyes that lingered nearby. Her neighbor's son, Evan, had just returned from his travels. She had known him for years, but hadn't seen him in quite some time. He was now a young man grown, confident and undeniably handsome. Evan had always been polite and respectful, but today, as he stood at the fence, watching Samantha in the garden, there was something new in the way he looked at her, a quiet admiration, a subtle longing. Samantha caught sight of him out of the corner of her eye. His gaze lingered on her, and for a brief moment, she found herself taken aback. There was an intensity in his look that sent a ripple of heat through her. She smiled and waved, feeling a sudden flush on her cheeks. "Hey, Samantha," Evan called out, walking toward her with a grin. His voice had a certain warmth, a comforting tone that seemed to make her feel at ease, despite the slight flutter of nervousness in her chest. "Hi, Evan," she replied, sitting up. "It's been a while." He nodded, glancing at the book and her hand. "I hope I'm not interrupting. Just got back in town and I saw you out here. Thought I'd say hi." "No interruption at all," Samantha said with a smile, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "It's good to see you. How was the trip?" As Evan sat down on the nearby bench, the space between them seemed to shrink, and the air between them suddenly felt charged with something unspoken. The way his eyes followed her as she shifted in her seat, the soft curve of her lips as she smiled, it was all more intimate than she had intended. "I miss this place," Evan said, his voice soft but filled with sincerity. "I miss the quiet. I miss the feeling of home." Samantha met his gaze, her heart skipping a beat. It wasn't just the peaceful afternoon that made her feel this way. There was something about him now, something she hadn't noticed before. He wasn't the boy she remembered from years ago. He had grown into someone more mature, someone who made her heart race in ways she hadn't expected. She shifted on the lounge chair, her mind swirling with thoughts she didn't want to confront. Was it possible to feel this drawn to someone who had always been just a neighbor? But Evan wasn't just any neighbor. He was someone she had seen grow up, someone whose presence now felt unexpectedly magnetic. Evan leaned forward, his gaze never leaving hers. "Samantha, I've always admired you. You've always been kind, strong, and so full of life. I never realized how much I missed you until I came back and saw you sitting here, so beautiful in the sun." Her breath caught in her throat. There was an intensity in his words that seemed to wash over her, a sincerity that touched her heart. She felt a warmth spread through her body and her pulse quickened, matching the rhythm of his steady gaze. "Evan, Samantha began, but the words faltered. What was she doing? What was this feeling? This wasn't something she had expected, nor was it something she could easily explain. Before she could gather her thoughts, Evan moved closer, his presence filling the space around her. He placed a hand gently on the armrest of her chair, his proximity sending a shiver down her spine. "I know this might sound sudden," he said, his voice low, "but I've always wanted to tell you how much you mean to me. And now, sitting here with you, I don't want to hide it anymore." Samantha looked into his eyes, and for the first time, she realized that she hadn't just been seeing a young man. She'd been seeing someone who was now standing on the edge of his own life. Someone full of emotion, full of longing, just as she was. She was drawn to him, and the realization made her heart race. "I think you've always meant more to me than just a neighbor," she whispered, the words slipping out before she could stop them. Evan's expression softened, and in that moment, he reached out, gently cupping her face in his hands. "I've thought about you more than I should," he confessed, his voice full of emotion. "More than I ever meant to." The space between them closed, and as Evan leaned in, Samantha's heart was a drumbeat in her chest. She felt a spark between them, a quiet passion that had been building beneath the surface. It wasn't just the kiss that followed. It was the promise in the way he touched her, the way he made her feel seen, made her feel wanted in a way that was unfamiliar, yet thrilling. Their lips met, soft at first, but then deepening as the connection between them grew stronger. It was not just the physical attraction, it was the emotional depth, the yearning that had been building for so long and had now found a place to manifest out as they pulled away, breathless, their foreheads resting against one another. "Samantha," whispered, "I didn't expect this." "Neither did I," Evan replied, his voice still filled with awe. "But sometimes the unexpected is exactly what we need." And in that moment, Samantha realized that life had a way of leading you to moments like this, moments when passion, connection, and love collide in the most unexpected of ways. They sat together for hours after that, talking, laughing, and sharing. Moments they had never allowed themselves to experience before. They knew that the future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, Samantha felt the excitement of something new. Something deeply fulfilling. As the sun set on that evening, the warmth of the day and the fire of their connection lingered, leaving them both wondering what the future would hold, but knowing that whatever came next, they would face it together. As the days passed, Samantha and Evan's connection grew stronger. What had started as a fleeting moment of passion soon evolved into something deeper. They continued to meet at the garden, spending hours talking, laughing, and discovering new things about each other. Despite the complexities of their relationship, they both found themselves increasingly drawn to the bond they were creating. Their connection was no longer just physical, it had transformed into an emotional and intellectual partnership. Samantha couldn't remember the last time she had felt so alive, so seen. Evan was attentive, always paying close attention to the smallest details, noticing things about her that she had forgotten about herself. Whether it was the way she smiled when she talked about her favorite books, or how she brushed her hair back when she was lost in thought, Evan seemed to understand her in a way she hadn't experienced before. One night, they decided to take a stroll under the stars, the cool evening air surrounding them as they walked down the quiet street. Samantha, in her quiet admiration of him, found herself stealing glances at Evan, his easy gait and the way he seemed so comfortable with her maid. Her heart swelled with a warmth she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. "Evan," she began, her voice quiet as they walked side by side. "What is this between us? I feel like something is changing, but I'm not sure how to explain it." Evan stopped walking and turned to face her, his gaze soft yet intense. He took her hand, his thumb brushing over her knuckles. "I don't know either," he confessed, "but I think we're both feeling something real here. I haven't felt this kind of connection in a long time. I want to see where it takes us, to be with you in whatever way we can." Samantha's heart fluttered at his words, and for a moment, they simply stood there, holding hands, absorbing the quiet night around them. The stars above were the only witnesses to the rawness of their connection. It felt like the world had faded away, leaving just the two of them in that beautiful, intimate moment. "Do you think we're ready for this?" she asked, her voice tinged with uncertainty, though there was a quiet confidence in her eyes. "I don't think anyone is ever completely ready for love," Evan replied with a soft smile. "But sometimes the right thing feels right even if you don't have all the answers. I want to be with you, Samantha. I want to take the time to see where this goes, with no pressure. Just us getting to know each other better." His words were a balm to her heart, soothing the lingering fears and uncertainties she had about stepping into this new chapter of her life. The truth was, she was ready to love again, ready to be vulnerable, ready to see where this connection would lead. They continued walking, the comfort of each other's presence making the night feel warmer than it actually was. As they walked back to her house, Evan pulled her close, wrapping his arms around. Her and Samantha felt the familiar sense of peace that she had only ever found in his arms. "Can I kiss you again?" Evan asked, his voice low, filled with tenderness. Samantha smiled, her eyes meeting his with a quiet intensity. "Yes." This time, their kiss was softer, slower, as if they were savoring the moment even more. It wasn't rushed or filled with the same urgency that had defined their first kiss. This kiss was different. It was full of promise. A promise to explore their connection, to see where their love would take them, and to be there for each other no matter what came next. The next morning, Samantha woke up with a smile on her face. The night they had shared felt like a dream, one she never wanted to end. As she walked to her kitchen to make coffee, she noticed that her thoughts were consumed by Evan. She couldn't remember the last time someone had made her feel so special, so alive. The phone rang, breaking her thoughts. It was Evan. "Good morning," he said, his voice warm and familiar. "I was thinking about you all morning. How's the coffee?" "Still brewing?" she replied with a chuckle. "But I'm thinking it's going to be the best cup I've ever had." Evan laughed softly. "I'm glad to hear it. Listen, I was wondering if you'd like to go to that little cafe down the street this weekend. I thought we could spend some time together, maybe plan some future adventures." The idea of spending more time with him filled her heart with excitement. "That sounds perfect. I'd love that." The days passed quickly as Samantha and Evan spent more time together. They discovered shared interests, unexpected passions, and simple pleasures they both cherished. Whether it was exploring a new park, cooking together in the kitchen, or talking late into the night about their hopes for the future, every moment felt more fulfilling than the last. One evening, after a long day at work, Samantha arrived home to find Evan waiting for her, holding a bouquet of flowers. "For you," he said, his smile radiant. "I wanted to remind you how special you are to me." Samantha's heart skipped a beat as she took the flowers, touched by the gesture. "Thank you, Evan. You didn't have to do this, but I'm so glad you did." Evan took her hand, guiding her inside. They spent the evening together, cooking. A simple dinner, laughing as they tried to get the recipe just right. The atmosphere between them was lighthearted, full of affection and warmth. As they finished the meal, Evan took her hand once more, leading her to the couch. "Samantha," he said softly, "I want you to know that I'm here for you. No matter what life throws our way, I want to be with you. I feel like we're building something beautiful, and I can't wait to see where it leads." Samantha looked into his eyes, feeling a wave of gratitude and love wash over her. She had spent so many years building walls around her heart, convinced that she couldn't rely on anyone. But now with Evan, she felt safe, loved, and cherished. In a way she never thought possible. "I feel the same way," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I didn't know I needed this kind of love, but now that I have it, I never want to let it go." Evan leaned in, his lips brushing against hers in a soft kiss. It wasn't just a kiss, it was a promise. A promise to continue growing together, to face whatever challenges came their way, and to always be there for each other. As they held each other close that night, Samantha knew that this was the beginning of something truly special. What started as a quiet attraction had blossomed into a love that was passionate, deep, and full of potential. It was a love that was built on trust, respect, and the willingness to be vulnerable with each other. And as they lay in each other's arms, Samantha realized that love wasn't just about passion. It was about the moments they shared, the support they offered each other, and the commitment to build a life together, one step at a time. As the weeks passed, Samantha and Evan's relationship blossomed in ways neither of them had expected. The connection they had discovered in their quiet moments together grew stronger, and with it came an undeniable desire for each other. It wasn't just physical, it was an emotional intimacy that transcended everything else. The more time they spent together, the deeper their bond became. They had truly found something rare, something that was more than just a passing spark, One evening, after an intimate dinner, the air between them felt thick with the unspoken words that lingered. In the space, they sat close together, the candlelight casting a soft glow over their faces, their eyes locked in a way that spoke volumes. Evan gently brushed a strand of hair from Samantha's face, his touch soft but purposeful. "You're everything I've been looking for," Evan murmured, his voice thick with desire. "You make me feel seen, like nothing else matters when I'm with you." Samantha's heart raced at the intensity of his words. She never felt more alive than she did in that moment. "I feel the same way," she whispered, her voice a mixture of longing and tenderness. "You make me feel complete, like I've finally found what I've been searching for." The vulnerability in their words, the honesty in their eyes, only deepened the passion between them. Slowly, Evan leaned in, his lips brushing softly against Samantha's, a gentle kiss that felt like an invitation. But Samantha couldn't help. Herself, she deepened the kiss, her hands reaching for him, pulling him closer. The heat between them intensified as they kissed, their breaths mingling as their connection grew stronger. Deeper. Evan responded to her with the same intensity, his hands slipping around her waist, pulling her closer. She could feel the warmth of his body against hers, the strong rhythm of his heartbeat as he held her close. The kiss wasn't just a kiss, it was an affirmation, a promise of everything they had shared and everything they still had to explore. Their hands wandered, finding each other in ways that spoke of desire, but also of a deep and unspoken connection. The world outside of the room seemed to fade away as they slowly and tenderly undressed each other, their movements languid but filled with a sense of urgency. Each touch, each caress was a rediscovery, a longing to be closer, to experience every part of each other. As they finally came together, it wasn't just about the physical connection. It was about the emotional intimacy, the trust that had been built between them. Their bodies moved together in a rhythm that was both slow and urgent, a dance of passion that was deepened by their shared love. Samantha felt a sense of surrender in his arms, the kind of surrender that came from knowing you were with someone who truly saw you, someone who cherished every part of you. Evan's touch was gentle, but there was an intensity in it, a desire to show Samantha how much she meant to him. With every kiss, every touch, he was reaffirming his commitment to her. Samantha's hands traced the contours of his body, feeling the strength in his muscles, the warmth of his skin. She had never felt so desired, so connected to another person. Every inch of her body responded to him, and with each movement, their connection grew stronger. As the night wore on, their passion didn't wane, it only deepened. The intensity of their love was undeniable, and as they lay together afterward, their bodies still tangled in the sheets, Samantha felt a sense of peace settle over her. She had never felt so content, so at home with someone. In Evan's arms, she had found a love that was both passionate and tender, a love that wasn't just about the physical connection, but about everything they had built together. Evan's hand gently brushed against her cheek as they lay in silence, the quiet rhythm of their breathing filling the space between them. He leaned in and kissed her forehead softly. "I never want to lose this," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "I don't want this moment to end." Samantha smiled, her fingers running through his hair. "It doesn't have to end. This is just the beginning." And in that moment, as the world outside continued on its way, Samantha knew that what they had was special. It wasn't just about passion, it was about the way they understood each other, the way they supported each other, and the way they had found something that was real, something lasting. Over the next few days, the connection between them only deepened. They spent time together in quiet moments, cooking meals, going on walks, and simply enjoying each other's company. The chemistry between them never faded, but it was the emotional intimacy that truly made their love stand out. Samantha felt seen by Evan in a way she never had with anyone else. She was learning to open her heart, to let herself be vulnerable with someone, and she had never felt more fulfilled. One evening, as they sat together on the balcony of their apartment, Samantha turned to Evan with a smile. I don't think I've ever been this happy, she said softly, her voice full of sincerity. I never imagined I could feel this way. Evan took her hand, kissing it gently. I feel the same way, Samantha. You've brought so much light into my life. I don't know where this journey will take us, but I know I want to walk it with you. Samantha leaned in to kiss him, the connection between them unspoken but powerful. Every kiss, every touch, was a reaffirmation of everything they had shared, and everything they still had to discover together. In that moment, there was no doubt in her heart. This was the love she had been waiting for. And with Evan by her side, she knew that their story was only just beginning. As the weeks turned into months, Samantha and Evan's relationship continued to grow, their connection becoming the cornerstone of their lives. They had found a love that wasn't just about passion, it was about mutual respect, unwavering support, and the comfort of knowing they could rely on each other through everything. Their bond had deepened in ways they never expected, transforming into something both beautiful and enduring. Samantha had never been one to embrace change easily, but with Evan, everything felt different. She no longer worried about keeping up appearances or maintaining the barriers she had built around herself. With him, she was able to let go and truly be herself, vulnerable, strong, loving, and free. One crisp autumn evening, as they sat together on the couch, watching the sun dip below the horizon through the window, Evan turned to her with a thoughtful expression. His hand found hers and he squeezed it gently, his gaze soft and full of love. Samantha, he began, his voice serious yet warm. I've been thinking a lot about us, about everything we've built together. I never imagined I'd find someone like you, someone who makes me feel so alive, so real. You've shown me what it means to truly love and be loved, and I want to spend the rest of my life doing that with you. Samantha felt her heart swell at his words. She could feel the sincerity radiating from him, and the warmth that spread through her chest made her breath catch. She had known deep down that this was the man she wanted to be with for the rest of her life. I feel the same way, Evan, she said softly, her voice thick with emotion. I've never known love like this. You make me feel like I'm enough. Like I don't need to pretend. You show me what real love is, and I can't imagine my life without you in it. Evan smiled, his eyes shining with affection, and he gently pulled her closer, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. Then let's make it official. Let's keep building our life together. You, me, and whatever the future brings. Samantha looked into his eyes, feeling her heart beat faster. Yes, I want that too. I want a lifetime with you, Evan. With that simple exchange, the foundation they had spent months building together felt more solid than ever. The future was still uncertain, but with each other, they knew they could handle whatever came their way. Their love had proven to be something stronger than fleeting passion. It was a deep, lasting connection that had grown and evolved with time. A few months later, they stood together on a quiet beach, the golden light of sunset casting a warm glow over the waves. Evan took Samantha's hand, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. He looked into her eyes, his heart full of emotion. Samantha, he began, his voice steady and clear. From the moment I met you, I knew my life would never be the same. You've been my partner, my best friend, and the love of my life. I want to spend every day with you, sharing everything this world has to offer. Will you marry me? Tears welled in Samantha's eyes as she nodded, unable to speak at first. Finally, with a shaky breath, she whispered, Yes, yes, I will. As Evan slid the ring onto her finger, the world around them seemed to fall away. In that moment, there was nothing but the two of them, their love, their commitment, and the promise of everything that lay ahead. Years passed, and Samantha and Evan's love only deepened. They built a home, traveled the world together, and supported each other through life's challenges and triumphs. They grew as individuals and as a couple, always finding new ways to rediscover each other. And through it all, the passion never faded. It transformed into something even more beautiful, a steady, unshakable flame that warmed their hearts and guided them through life's ups and downs. They had found something rare, something that would last a lifetime. As they grew older, Samantha looked at Evan with the same love and admiration she had felt on that first evening they met. And as she held his hand, she realized that love, in all its forms, was not about chasing fleeting moments of excitement. It was about the deep, unwavering connection they shared, a connection built on trust, tenderness, and the understanding that, no matter what, they would always have each other. And so, as they sat together, watching the sun dip below the horizon once again, Samantha knew that their love story was only just beginning.